Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is me, Dana G. Today I'm going to be sharing with you an inexpensive family recipe that is sure to satisfy any sweet tooth. One of the things that I love to put into the books that I write is foods that I love, and I love to put them in scenes that have some type of an emotional connection. Scenes where two characters might need to connect with each other on some level usually has one or more of my favorite foods involved, which brings us to today's video. Today I am going to be showing everyone how to make my favorite inexpensive candy. It's called mashed potato candy. The other day while I was working on my newsletter, I was writing out the mashed potato candy recipe, and I started doing some research on the origin of this mashed potato candy. And this candy is very interesting because you don't really find it like anywhere other than this small area on the East Coast. And so I started doing some research on the history of it, and it came to America with Irish, German immigrants, and it primarily stayed in the Pennsylvania Dutch, Irish immigrant communities. And that's where it stays to this day. It was one of those traditional recipes that was literally passed down from mother to daughter to grandchild to great-grandchild and so on and so forth. And even though it is really, really good, it's one of those things that just, you know, it's a treasure. People hold on to their treasures. So, and then I found out that during the Depression, it became a little bit more popular because it is so inexpensive to make and it's super simple. And the Pennsylvania Dutch communities are extremely good at finding delicious recipes for leftovers. And that is exactly what mashed potato candies is. You would take the leftovers from your mashed potatoes and you would turn it into a sweet treat. Okay, without further ado, I am going to get started with this mashed potato candy. Today's recipe is going to use potatoes, confectioner's sugar, peanut butter, and I'm going to make a special one for my husband. He loves Almond Joys, and so I'm going to try using chocolate and coconut as well. So anyway, let's get on with the show. This is legitimately my copy of my mashed potato candy recipe, and it's super simple. I've had this one for years. I've spilt, dropped, and wiped all kinds of stuff on it, as you can see. And it was given to me verbally, and I had to write it down real quick. Alright, so here's the ingredients that we'll be using. We're going to use confectioner's sugar, or more commonly known as powdered sugar. Any kind of potato will work. If you don't have a big bag of potatoes, or if you won't use the remainder of the potatoes, you can buy the individual ones, which you'll only need one. You'll want creamy peanut butter, and then this time I am going to try with the coconut and the chocolate chips. Step 1, we are going to peel and boil the potatoes. So take your spud and you're just gonna peel it because you don't want that peel in your candy, okay? So this one is actually a really good potato. It doesn't have very many brown spots on it, but you'll want to make sure that you get all the peel off. You don't want that in your candy. And then, there it is. You'll want to cut it like that because I'm a great cutter. And the best way that I learned how to do potatoes is to cut them into equal chunks of about 1 inch. That's that. And that goes into the pot. Alright, so this spot right here is a perfect example of what you don't want in your potato, so you'll actually want to make sure you cut that out before you boil them. You will also need, for this recipe, a pot, a knife, a husband beater, rolling pin, and wax paper. If you are like me and you add salt to everything that you boil, it is okay to add salt to this pot of boiling potatoes. Alright, so here's my potatoes. I'm also making another thing, but I'll talk about that mess later. So anyway, the potatoes, what I do is I take the potatoes, they're cut up nicely. I put them in the pot with water and salt, and I let them boil for like 15 to 20 minutes, and then all you have to do is you run a fork through it. See how it's still firm. It goes in, it's still firm, but I'm going to give it some more time because these need to be soft enough to actually push them through like a colander. I'll show you what I mean. Thing that I want to mention is that when you are boiling potatoes, you want to stir them periodically just to keep them from sticking to the bottom. Most people assume that the bubbles will just keep bouncing them around and they won't stick. That is not true. As the steam burns off the water, they have a tendency to go to the bottom and stay there. So I pulled this one out, and you can see how my knife or my fork very easily goes through it and smashes into it, and that's what you want. Also, for this project, you will need measuring spoons. I am going to use these really cool measuring spoons that my sister got for me on her trip to Alaska. I love these. This part of the process is interesting because you need 2 tablespoons of mashed potatoes. And it doesn't, I know, I'm making all kinds of noise. But you're gonna take your colander or your sifter and make a bunch of noise, and you're just gonna push these through here now to get them nice and mushy, and then you get it down at the bottom right there, and it's smooth, and then you really get like all the lumps and bumps out of it and any undesirable impurities. See right there how there's all those bruises that I didn't find when I was cutting them? It helps to get all of those out. And you just like that. So then the next step is you're going to take 2 tablespoons of mashed potatoes. There's 1. There's 2. Alright, so you're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Stir that around. The powdered sugar, you get your confectioner's sugar and you add it until it's not mushy, but it's not dry at the same time. Just kind of guess. Alright, so now you can see that it's kind of, now it's watery, okay? So you don't want it watery. So you keep mixing your confectioner's sugar. Maybe I should use that spoon. Alright, so as soon as we added the confectioner's sugar, it got really mushy, okay? Now we almost have damn near water. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add, if it starts to look more like water and less like potatoes, you're going to add more potatoes. See how that's starting to thicken up? Now that is about the consistency you want it to be. It's not runny, it's not watery, it's not too dry. The next step. Alright, so you put your potato in on top of the wax paper, okay? And kind of, I know I just totally put it. Put it back down. Roll it out. Alright, so it's not perfect, but it will do. Now then, you're going to take your peanut butter. So I went ahead and I warmed my peanut butter up so it's a little bit easier to spread around so it won't rip my potatoes up. And you just spread it all over the potato concoction. And then take your spatula and you're going to roll it up like a jelly roll. Okay? Just like that. Ah! And if the potato is too thin, it might have a little bit more difficulty rolling. Alright, but you just want to roll it just like that. Going to be a little thin on some places. That's okay. All right, and then we'll do your final roll. All right, so now it kind of looks like that. We'll cut that end off because it's, you know, a little thin without a whole lot of peanut butter on it. And then we'll cut that end off because, again, without a whole lot of peanut butter in it. And then you're going to roll this up. All right, roll it up just like that. Stick it in the refrigerator until it's cool. Here it is. And like I said, for the sake of time, we didn't let it harden as long as I would have liked to, but that's okay. You guys can let it harden and you will have the full effect. So that's it. It's super simple. And super yummy. I'm really excited about that chocolate coconut one now. Go ahead and try it for yourself and feel free to go over to my website, danagwrites.com, and sign up for my newsletter and contact me. Send me pictures. I would love to see the pictures of you guys trying the mashed potato candy. And next month, if you get your pictures of your potato candy to me by April 15th, I will put your pictures in my April newsletter. So don't forget, it's danagwrites.com. It'll be in the description. If you're here for the first time, make sure that you subscribe, click the like button, and share me with all your friends. So until next time, bye!